Well, John, obviously a significant margin at three-quarter time, but you managed to close it within 4 points. You take plenty of positives out of that second half.
Well, I mean, probably the last quarter. I thought before that, though, we got well beaten between the arcs and ground balls. A massive differential in that part of the ground from midfielders, their high half forwards. They just got onto the ball. Hard ball, loose ball gets through that area, and we didn't adjust, and we tried to adjust, but we didn't stop it until the last quarter, and we just didn't get that part of the game right, and it led to a few other issues.
What did you put the slow first half down to, particularly, I guess, the contested possession, which is a trademark of the Swans?
Yeah, we just got beaten around the ball, and we. They had, I think it was 9 scoring shots to 3 from stoppages. Just got beaten around the footy, and particularly layer after layer, the second layer as well, and we didn't get that right, and they were able to play the game how they like to play it.
You must have been pretty pleased with the performance of Nick Blakey, particularly with his composure in that last quarter.
Yeah, look, we thought we had a chance there in that last quarter. We were coming home with a wet sail, and we needed things to go right after the start that we had. So, and we got close, and we just couldn't quite kick that goal that put us in front, and they were able to take the length of the ground a couple of times and kick the goal. So Nick had a reasonable start, but when we got beaten around the ball too much, we didn't get enough supply forward, and when you're not winning the footy around the ground, it's difficult to get the forward entries.
Was speed an issue in the first half? Because it looked like, everything they were doing faster.
Yeah. Sorry?
Was speed an issue?
Yeah, it looked at. They were harder and cleaner and getting onto the scramble ball a lot quicker than what we were. And we tried to make adjustments, which we did during the course of the game, particularly at half time, to try and change it. But it wasn't until we actually started lifted our work rate in the last quarter with ball in hand as well, and we started to change the angles a bit as well, trying to get the ball forward. But that next layer, the second and third layer in the scramble, we were just didn't have our numbers across to match them.
The changes you made at half time, and Callum Mills was moved into the middle. Is that something we're going to see more often? Callum playing?
We'll see how we go. We put him back in the last quarter and had our best quarter, so it's just you just can't get beaten by that sort of amount. That first half of footy around the ball, and we just needed to make some changes. We did that. We made it threw the team around a bit to try and get some momentum.
What were your key messages around capturing that momentum at half time? Because we saw a pretty significant improvement in the third quarter.
Well, it was just about when the balls left your area and making sure that you act as well. We were just sort of standing there watching a lot of the times when the balls left our area rather than joining in, and whether that's a scramble, whether that's off the ball contest as well, we're just standing there watching it, and rather than going across and making the play, and that's what we need to do.
A couple of discussion points from the night. The sliding rule was attracted some commentary online, and obviously in the commentary as well. I think Ed Richards scored a goal from a sliding interpretation, and Will Hayward missed one. Do you think that's a rule that perhaps should be reviewed?
No, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and have a look at it closer. We were sort of trying to work out some other things during the course of the game, and we didn't sort of spend too much time looking at that.
Was Buddy on managed minutes, or what was you thinking around that?
Yeah, it was. We knew that coming in. We knew he's going to be time limited, but we decided to make that decision and put him in the team. And you need to get playing. He certainly trained more than what he trained last year, but hopefully he can get going in regards to the training program. We're going to a 6-day break next week, but if he's able to get through that, he should be able to improve his minutes playing wise.
From a percentage of training perspective, John, how much training is Buddy doing at the moment? I know it was lower this time last year, but
he's been doing over the last 3 weeks. He's been doing all the sessions. So once you get in the game mode, that's the challenge, is to be able to recover and still train. So, but he's up until the last three and a half weeks, he's been doing all the sessions.
The 666 rule prevents you from having that extra back at that centre bounce, but in general play, I don't seem to think that. Don't recall too many instances, well, if any, where you had that extra. Was there a temptation to to have that extra back to
Yeah.
at least stem the flow?
Yeah, there was, and we talked about that during the play. But we tried to put an extra number up around the ball. That was probably the key part of it. It was more trying to get our hand on it around the ball. That's where we wanted to put an extra number, because we're getting beaten between the arcs, and so we tried to get some momentum out of that part of the ground. And rather than saving it, we wanted to win it around that scramble situation. That was where we got well beaten.
How do you explain that tardiness or that sort of inactivity around the ball in the first half?
Well, it's just we didn't do it. We knew going into the game what they were good at and what we needed to be good at ourselves. And we talked about it pre-game about getting onto the scramble and getting better there. And we thought we did it well last time we played 2 weeks ago, but we didn't do it well tonight. It's just we'll train it, we'll try and work it through it and get better at it. But if you get beaten around the contest, it's really hard to get the momentum forward. And that's what we're faced with tonight. We just didn't get enough of a hand on the ball through that between the arcs to get the ball forward. They did. Their midfielders and their high half forwards were able to do it.
Did you see a marked shift in their game style tonight, John, from your perspective? Was it more like their 2016 play?
Look, they were able to get their hand on it. They played the way they wanted to do around the footy, and they were able to run forward in those 50-50 situations, and because they were getting their hand on it and winning in the hard ball, loose ball, they were just all over it. And that's what good teams do. That's what they do when they're playing well, and that's what they did tonight.
Your forward setup, I think at times you had three of the big guys inside. I know Richmond's made a trend of it to go shorter and faster. How do you see that?
Richmond played 2 rucks and 2 key forwards the other day. If you look at their team was different. They played a couple of keys, Lynch and Rewalt and 2 ruckmen as well. I mean, we put Grundy there mainly because we were looking at changing some things around. It certainly wasn't how we went in. We just went in with Reid and Franklin as the 2 keys, and 1 ruckman. So and how it ended up was just because we were changing it around, trying to change the mix around. So we'll look at the structure, but that's how we went into the game.
Were you happy with the pressure on their rebound? Was the ball coming out?
No, we weren't. But they had plenty of options as well, and that was probably once again between the arcs and their high half forwards are able to get those outlets and get the. It's sort of all related to each other. If we don't get that part of the game right, they're able to rebound pretty easily. They look up and they've got spare players everywhere, and that's what they're able to do.
Is there any play feedback on the surface on this side tonight, John? It looked like there's some chunks over the ground at one stage.
I haven't had a chance to talk to them just yet.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.